Hi, I'm Cheyenne Carroll, your host of TV2 Profiles. Well, on today's episode, we are here at Dover High School. And first of all, we'll talk with two guests to tell us about the Tuscarora-West County Anti-Drug Coalition and what it is that they do as a board with a PFCS here in Tuscarora-West County. Then in our next segment, we'll speak with a student and a teacher here at Dover High School to tell us about the Youth to Youth initiative and how they kind of help the students stay away from drugs and alcohol, especially with prom and graduation season upon us. So stay tuned for today's episode of TV2 Profiles.
As a parent, we always want what's best for our child. In the case of one child, it may be going off to college. In another case, staying home and going to college. And yet, in other cases, it could be going right into the workforce. But how will they have the skills to do that? Buckeye Career Center has been the answer for one of our daughters. She's learning to do things with her hands that are going to be very valuable for her in the workplace. And we're excited we have Buckeye to thank for that.
Adults who return to Buckeye Career Center to continue their education usually have one goal in mind. They want the opportunity for a better job. The fact is, adult education programs at Buckeye Career Center are less expensive and provide greater opportunities for job placement following graduation. It's your future. Get the facts. Buckeye Career Center. We put people to work. Find out more about your future at buckeyecareercenter.org.
Brilliantly practical scientist Harriet Tuttle's search for a more efficient life concluded with an unorthodox solution. Harriet created 4 more Harriets. Together they were a model of efficiency. However, while identical, they had their own interests and their own retirement plans, each customized with a Raymond James financial advisor, allowing them to enjoy life separately and together. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
Welcome to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host today, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, today we are at Dover High School, and I have 2 guests with me now, and we'll have 2 later. And first of all, we have Jody Salvo, and Jody is the director of the Tuscarora-West County Anti-Drug Coalition. And then to my other side, we also have Kim Rixey, and Kim leads the youth-led prevention efforts. So welcome to the program today, ladies. Cheyenne. And I'm going to start today with Jody, just to kind of tell us about the coalition and what exactly it is. Tell me about being a director and what you do, and then we'll get into what the coalition is.
Thank you. I coordinate the Anti-Drug Coalition for Tuscarora County, and the Anti-Drug Coalition is memberships of community business leaders, human service providers, concerned family members. We meet once a month at the Adams Board, and really what we do is we seek to prevent substance abuse in Tuscarora County. So we look at community data, what's going on, what are some root causes of drug abuse in our community, and we look at how do we impact that. We use different strategies. We look at education, information dissemination, looking at access and availability, perceptions, community norms. So we're looking at why is this happening in here and what can we do to impact change. We meet together. We have 12 sectors of the community that are represented, from faith to business to schools. And we meet and we just work on our strategies. And I'm really excited to be here today because one of our strategies is to engage our youth and empower our youth to really make changes not only in our schools but definitely in our community.
And Kim will talk a little bit more about the youth-led here in a few moments. But you had talked about the norm, and I know being in the news business, a lot of cases deal with drugs. So it is here. Absolutely. It is in our communities, and it's filtering, to even younger kids.
Absolutely. One thing when people think or hear about the Anti-Drug Coalition, they think immediately heroin epidemic, opiate problems with the opiates. Those are things that are very much on our radar, but we also look at why here, why now. When you talk about those community norms, sometimes it kind of creeps into our society of messaging that alcohol is necessary, and we really challenge our youth especially to think, do we need to drink? Why is it illegal to drink under 21? We do not have to have alcohol to have fun. Also marijuana issues, we hear a lot of people saying, why are you always focusing on the marijuana issue? Well, we focus on the marijuana issue because we want to prevent substance abuse. So some of those norms where people think underage drinking might be okay or there's not harm to marijuana, what we do know is when you use substances at a younger age, it certainly increases your chance of substance abuse, future problems. So we want to look right at the very front end of why do we think what we do? Why do we believe what we do? And a lot of times it really is the media coming down. When you look at music, movies, media messages, it's always in front of us, these media messages that just tie partying, substance abuse, just part of our culture. This is how we celebrate. This is who we are. And we really want to challenge those thoughts, help people stop and think, why are these just so prevalent in or celebrated in our society, and just kind of really start with our youth and kind of rethinking some of those things.
And what kind of services do you have available, for people that may, have a drug problem or like the alcohol a little too much and they need some assistance?
Absolutely. We do have wonderful community resources, but I would say the quickest, easiest information to give you right now would be call our local Adams board. And they're in Monroe Plaza, and then they would do the referrals out from personal and family counseling services. We have the health department, we have community mental health services, and I certainly don't want to miss anyone. We have the alcohol addictions program for the health department, but if you would call the Adams board, they can kind of let you know what resources are out there.
And you had mentioned, some of the different types of drugs, and meth seems to be something we hear
Absolutely.
a lot of. Are you also seeing maybe an increase in that when it comes to people coming to you for assistance?
You know what? We definitely, crack cocaine is an issue, methamphetamines, heroin, obviously, abuse of prescription drug abuse and misuse. Those are problems in our community. We do see those. I will tell you, healthy tests, access tests, we were doing some great community surveys right now. So we're going to be doing the youth risk survey here in Tuscarawas County mid-May. And we also are going through our adult survey, and I think we'll have some really good, solid data within the next couple months that we can really look at and have a better understanding of what is going on.
Okay, well, you started to mention about the youth, so let's turn things over to Kim, because that's kind of your specialty. So you lead the youth-led prevention effort, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
What does that entail?
Youth-led prevention really encompasses a really large idea that we start viewing our youth, our teenagers, as resources. We want to engage them in decision making, in planning, everything that goes on in the community. We need to make sure that they have a voice. So it's really empowering them to make changes, not only in their school environment, but they're going to be the people that go out and live and work in our community. So we need to just build them up, give them the self-esteem, self-confidence to go out and make changes in their community at some point.
Do you see peer pressure being a problem with a lot of the youth here in our high schools in Tuscarawas County?
We do, and really with youth-led prevention, we want to use peer pressure in a helpful way and say the majority of teens are making good choices. When we look at different youth risk surveys for the state of Ohio or just at a national level, we know that the majority of teenagers don't use drugs. They are making healthy choices. So one initiative in this state is the We Are the Majority, telling kids have this idea that, every senior goes out to parties on Friday night. So they have this idea in their head, well, to be cool, I'm going to need to go out and party or drink and do these things. Youth-led prevention says, you know what? Not everybody's doing that. And here's the statistics, here's the numbers. Be a part of this group, this youth-led prevention group. We're the majority. Majority of the kids are making great decisions. And here's this safe place to hang out and just do good things. Sky's the limit.
Now, when it comes to the minority of the kids, we do know, there are kids that are abusing alcohol and drugs. Do you see that when they start at a younger age, it continues for, through their adulthood?
Absolutely. We have science. Science backs everything that we do in prevention. And science tells us that the earlier a child or a teenager starts abusing a substance, the greater the rate of addiction is. So if we can just keep that from starting, if we can delay that for as long as possible, we know that we have a greater chance of getting them to be a healthy adult. So that's what we do, is provide them with the information. Part of prevention is just giving them the information they need, education, relevant, real information about the drugs or the alcohol, and kind of show them the consequences to using. And I think that helps them make a good decision.
And I'm sure that really helps for kids that maybe see that at home. It's something they've just grown used to, but maybe when they come to school and they can get involved in these programs, they can see the other side that, it's a little greener over there.
Absolutely. And really, all these skills that we're developing with kids in youth-led prevention, they can work on anything they want. It doesn't have to just be tied to drugs and alcohol. They can talk about mental health issues. They can talk about bullying, any good that they can do in their community. And through their efforts to plan a project and implement it and do these real positive things, that's the prevention right there. You see something bigger than you. You see that you can achieve these goals, and you start to see, well, drugs and alcohol can get in the way of me achieving those goals. I like this group. I like what I'm doing. This feels good. I'm going to stay healthy.
What other programs do you have? You said the youth-led prevention is somewhat new here. So where do we start and what are we doing now?
We started youth-led prevention here at Dover High School and at Carrollton High School. Our prevention program at Personal and Family Counseling Services, we've been in the schools for years, doing a Taking It to the Schools program at the elementary and a little bit at the middle school level. Just doing some education, drug and alcohol prevention education. This is new as far as going into the high school. So this is the first year that we've been meeting at Dover High School, and we have a great group of kids, core kids that we've really been engaged with this whole school year. The main thing that they've been doing this year is called the Farming Effects, and it's an interactive skit that they've performed to different Rotary groups, the Adams Board, to the school board has seen it via video. It talks about the misuse and abuse of prescription drugs, and it's just a really neat way. They got to work together to plan this skit. They got trained on it in Columbus, so it was neat. They got to see other youth-led prevention groups throughout the state of Ohio. And it's a fun way to share information about misusing and abusing prescription drugs, because unfortunately we know that's what later leads to heroin use.
Thank you for talking with us today about the Tuscarawas County Anti-Drug Coalition. We'll be back to TV2 Profiles in just a moment.
Omni Orthopedics comprehensive programs provide early diagnosis and successful treatment for every musculoskeletal problem. With more than 30 years of orthopedic experience, their physicians offer patient-centered treatment for all ages. From evaluation to rehabilitation, your treatment plan is designed around your needs. Omni Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, the spine, physical medicine and rehabilitation, foot and ankle, and hand surgery. If pain makes activities like climbing stairs, standing or walking a challenge, turn to the home team at Omni Orthopedics. Their mission is to provide you with the highest quality and most advanced orthopedic services so you can get back in the game. Located in the Oxford Medical Arts Building, Omni offers a full-service facility including digital x-ray and physical therapy. So there's no need to travel when quality care is so close to home. Omni Orthopedics, setting the standard in orthopedic care.
I'm John Maselli, and I would like to welcome you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant. Since 1999, we have served over 500,000 meals. We specialize in steak, pasta, and the patron special, ribs. The Sunnyside Store is located at 5495 North Worcester Avenue in Parral. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, we open at 9 a.m. for breakfast. For more information or to schedule an event in the banquet room for groups of 40 or smaller, call 330-364-5474. This is John Maselli inviting you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant.
Welcome back to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, this time around, we have Caitlin Dunlap to one side, and we also have Trisha Cosmides, who is a student here at Dover. But I'm going to start again with Caitlin. Now, Caitlin is the director kind of here at Dover for the Youth to Youth programs. So I know we've talked about kids and drug abuse and things like that, but tell me exactly what Youth to Youth means and what you do here at Dover High School.
Well, for me, Youth to Youth is about engaging with youth to make positive choices in the community. Just a little history about how this started here at Dover. In August, I was approached by Assistant Principal Gina Franks and Kim and Jody from PFCS, and they asked me to be advisor to this new group, this youth-led prevention group. And to be honest, I didn't know much about it. And I thought, well, I love working with kids. I'm a language arts teacher here, so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to get involved with the youth. So we started in September, and we recruited some of our sophomores, juniors, and seniors to be a part of this program, and we had about 20 to 25 come out for the group, and we just let them know what our year was going to look like, what they would be doing, and they just, they hit it and ran with it. They were so great with their creative ideas that they wanted to do, and ever since the start of the school year, we've been just working together on events that we're participating in the community, a National Drug Facts Week that happens every January that we worked on, and just other great events that are youth-centered, youth-focused, and they're behind that, running that. So.
And you said 20 to 25 kids came out originally. Now, to me, that number seems high because, talking about drugs and alcohol, it's something that maybe kids aren't willing, they don't want to go to their parents about it sometimes, but maybe having a youth organization, they can talk about those kind of things. I'm sure that helps.
Yes, it does. And we were really astounded by the turnout that we got. And these kids are just stellar. They're involved in their community, they're involved in their schools, and you can really tell that this is something that they feel passionate about, and I do admire them because it takes courage to stand up for saying that I'm drug-free, I'm making good choices, and that's probably the proudest moment that I've had all year in working with them and having them stand up for their beliefs.
How do you keep them engaged? What exactly you meet? So what do you do during these meetings? Do we look at books and magazines, or what is it?
No, well, food is the number one priority. We meet weekly, sometimes twice a week. And we have snacks after school and drinks, and I'm sure they appreciate that after a long day. But each meeting that we have, we go over an agenda and we set goals for ourselves and what we're going to do, involving raising community awareness and having different events at the school. But also, we have fun. That's the number one thing. We do icebreakers. At the beginning, we made name tags. We do get to know you games, and then throughout the year, we get serious and we plan what we're going to do to be a change agent and make change in the community.
Well, and graduation and prom are upon us, and that always seems to be the season when these type of issues really come to light.
Yes, we're really excited. We're working with the advisors for the prom committee this year, and we created favors, bubbles, like you would see at a wedding, and we're going to have those in addition to the favors that the junior class is passing out, and on it says, Trisha, help me out here. It says,
the bubbles get high, not you. Have a great prom night.
Okay, so they came up with that on their own, and they're going to attach that tag to the bubbles and give it out to the kids and hopefully just remind them and encourage them that you don't need to use substances to have a fun time at prom.
Okay, so let's ask Trisha then. What inspired you to join this group? It's something new, as a sophomore. What inspired you to get involved with Youth to Youth?
Well, I have a lot of friends that don't really make right choices, and I know that I want to be different, and I want to make right choices, and I want to go to college and be something more than what other people who are using drugs are going to be.
Do you get any slack from your friends or from maybe former friends? Because, as we talked about peer pressure a few moments ago, it can be tough to stand out and be different.
At times it is kind of tough to stand out and be different because other people are pressuring you to, come just do this once, you're a goody two-shoes, but really it's more about your values and morals when you are talking about this, and you really have to stand by what you want to be when you grow up. It's not about your now, it's about your future.
And I'm sure you've gained a lot of friends through this, with 20, 25 kids that have joined this group. I bet you all hang out outside of class because you enjoy the same things, you know, not abusing alcohol and drugs. There's so many other things to do, right?
Oh, definitely. We hang out all the time and we just have a really fun time, and we have really gotten to know each other over the past year, so we can be able to talk to each other, and it's just a really good support group that we have now.
And do you think we're talking about the right age here? You know, and we had mentioned earlier that talking with kids in elementary and middle school, but now we're hitting the high school group, and that's really an age group I think that needs to hear this.
I think all groups need to hear this because it's not just high school and it's not just the younger ages. So I think having it in all of them just kind of puts it out there that no matter what age you are, that it's not right to abuse drugs. And there are people that are choosing to make good choices.
And we had mentioned, you know, the meetings. Of course, food draws you in. So tell me the students' aspect of that.
Well, as a student, you don't really want to sit in a room where people just lecture all the time about what you should do. So it's really fun because this group, you just kind of hang out with friends and you eat and you talk about maybe what your day happened and how, you know, your week's gone. And then you get serious and you get to have fun while being serious. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Now, do you also do some mentoring as well?
Yes, we mentored the middle school earlier this year, and we got a lot of positive input on that, and we were really glad that we got to get into the middle school and talk to them about how their decisions are going.
And what are you talking to them about? You know, you talk about decisions, but are middle school students thinking about the same thing that maybe the high school students are dealing with?
No, I think middle schoolers are dealing with some of the same things, such as peer pressure to do not just drugs and alcohol, but other times to go do bad decisions that you normally would see every day. And they're also kind of like having stress and getting bullied. So that was another main stress that we put out there in the mentoring.
And when you talk about bullying, do you see much of that at the high school level or more at the middle school level?
I think for us, it just depends on the school and what grade you're in. But I think that middle schoolers get it, and then the high schoolers just kind of keep going with it.
All right, well, that was Trisha, and over here we had Caitlin. So, ladies, thanks again for sitting down with us to tell us about the Anti-Drug Coalition and what you do here at Dover High School with the Youth to Youth program. So, for TV2 Profiles, I'm Cheyenne Carroll.